Michigan's rock station. Q106.
Fam, it is my pleasure to welcome to Q106 land Aubrey Edwards, history-making referee, laying down the law in the AEW, and you're going to be laying down the law at Capital City Comic-Con, man. July 10th.
Am I?
Yeah. Well, we're counting
I thought
on
I was
you.
there to sign things. I thought I was there to take photos and stuff.
We're counting on you to hold the whole thing together, man. You get Star Wars and Star Trek fans in the same room, and then just all hell breaks loose.
Okay, we're gonna have to talk about some extra money because I was not showing up in a uniform, and if I need to be like, there's a certain tier of effort that is put in here.
That is true.
We'll talk offline.
You're not wrong about that. You're not wrong about that. But July 10th through 12th at the
Yes.
Lansing Center in Lansing, Capital City Comic Con. Have you visited the fair city of Lansing before?
I have not. I've been primarily in Detroit just because AEW's run there a couple times. But yeah, no, this will be my first time in Lansing.
There is actually a big AEW gig coming up at the Masonic Theater in Detroit.
Yes.
That is
we ran there last year. It's a really, really cool venue.
Yeah, man. I just caught Opeth and Catatonia there. And that was hearing like prog metal bands like that in that particular environment, and a pretty wild place to do a wrestling show too, man. That's very cool. Now, Aubrey, when you do explore a new city, when you go to a new city and you actually do have some time to explore between, the responsibilities of the road, how do you, what's your modus operandi? Where do you like to explore when you check out a new place?
I think if I have time at all, because honestly, like 90% of the time I don't explore. I fly a plane, I show up, I check into a hotel, I do the gym, I go to a show, I get on a plane, I go home, or wherever the next destination is. So it's not as glamorous as people like to think, where you're just suddenly gallivanting everywhere. It's like there's a lot of sleeping on airplanes involved. When I do have the opportunity to go, I am a stereotype of the Pacific Northwest, and I like finding good coffee. So I try to find like a fun local, bonus points if it's hipstery, but like something with good coffee. And when I say good coffee, like I don't mean like let's buy a mocha latte. I mean let's get something that's black so you can actually taste the coffee, because I prefer coffee, not dessert.
You are a woman of culture. I can tell already, man. I like
this coffee's black, so
I tell when people are like, "Hey, how do you want your coffee?" I'm like, I want it as black. I want it as black as my heart would be if I had one. So yeah.
I normally drink cold brew, so I tell people I want it cold and black like my heart. And when you say that, the barista never messes it up, because they're like, "Oh, I'm not going to ask if you want any flavor, and I'm not going to ask any else." I'm like, "No, just give me the cold and black, because I'm going to drink it real fast. And if it's hot, like I'm going to burn my throat. So let's just drink it cold, and let's get some caffeine in my body." And that's
caffeine straight to the veins, man. Let's go. So, as someone who officiates the matches, do you believe that if a civilian is walking around with a replica belt, that they should be forced to defend it?
So I think in that instance, in order to defend a belt, you have to have some sort of official that is prepared and ready to officiate, because you don't actually finish a match until the official declares it as finished.
True enough.
And as we had talked about, just because I'm an official doesn't mean I'm always on the clock. So if I see someone go for a pin and I'm walking down the street, I'm like, that's not my problem.
Good luck. You're in a hardcore match. Best of luck to you.
Yep. Or maybe it's not a false count anywhere. Maybe it's like you have the belt, but you guys still got to go to the ring.
What is your favorite type of match to officiate? Because they all have their different nuances, their different vibes.
Right. I think that's an incredibly hard question to ask, because every match is different. Like if we look at a singles match between, say, Osprey and Pac is going to be different than a singles match between Jericho and Ricochet. Mm-hmm. They're going to be different types of wrestling. They're going to tell different stories. They may have different buildup. They may be on TV versus pay-per-view. Like there's so many factors at play when you look at a match, that I would say like match types are not necessarily something I can say like I have a favorite. Okay. I have people I enjoy working with, and I have, certain venues I really enjoy working in. So there's always the combination of those things. I would say the one match I generally don't like, and it's like, I'll do it. But the one I generally don't like is Blood and Guts, just because like it smells really bad. And I don't think people realize that when there's a copious amounts of blood, you just have iron everywhere.
Right.
And you're in there for over an hour, and it's just, this This is great. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of like real violence. It's part of the reason I like wrestling is
Yeah.
the spectacle of it. So whenever there's that moment of, people are bleeding heavily, it's like, oh, I'm worried for my friends. Like, are
Right,
you
right.
okay?
And here's there's got to be some worry for yourself too. I mean, like there are signs hanging up in like hospitals, like, "Hey, don't touch this. This is gross stuff. You could get sick." And here you are, it's spraying everywhere while you're trying to do your damn job. That's a health risk. It's a hazard of the job that I think a lot of folks don't really think about when it comes to what the ref is doing in the ring.
Well, that's not necessarily a problem because we take our medical very, very seriously at AEW.
Mhm.
And we have regular blood testing for various different bloodborne illnesses. We do annual physicals. So there's a lot of instances where, and even when we bring in like extra talent, they've gone through sort of the same thing.
Hmm.
So our priority as a company is always to keep our talent safe. They're not going to put me in a ring with someone when we don't know, like, oh, they might have something bad.
Gotcha.
Like,
Okay.
so it's one of those instances where I have to deal with the emotional turmoil of blood and guts, but I don't necessarily have to worry about the safety aspect of it because I know that AEW does a great job of caring for me and all of my coworkers in that
Oh,
instance.
that's fantastic to hear, man. That's fantastic to hear. It's actually reassuring to me as a fan. I didn't
Oh
realize
yeah,
there was that
100%.
level of testing going on there.
Oh yeah, like we definitely like really, really care about the long-term health of people, right? Like you hear commonly like it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Mhm.
Like you want to make sure that you can do this safely for as long as possible, as long as like you're able to, or as long as you want to. And part of that is not just, the quality of the wrestling, it's also the quality of your health because who you are impacts who you are in the ring.
That is honestly refreshing to hear. I mean, obviously, big fan of the graps here, and you listen to interviews and podcasts with with the guys and gals who have been in it for a while, and that level of safety for the performers that wasn't always the case.
There, I think we've learned a lot as an industry over the course of time, and I think like just in general, people have learned a lot about medical science over the course of time, and we take all of that information and adapt our policies accordingly, just to keep our talent as safe as possible.
What is your favorite part of doing the referee gig in a match?
Favorite part. I love when we have finished a match and I feel like I have contributed in a significant way. Or even if I haven't, that I didn't do anything to take away from it. If my coworkers and my boss are happy with the match, then I know I succeeded in what it is that I need to do. And that's the thing that I think brings me the most amount of joy because part of being a referee is assisting in the storytelling. And if I'm able to do that effectively, I'm doing my job.
Excellent. I was talking with voice actor Craig Lee Thomas. He's John Helldiver from the Helldivers video game series, and
Mhm.
he was the fight manager basically for a Shakespeare organization. So
Yeah.
he was in dangerous situations. There might be blood flying around, and I asked like, brother, does that give you a more appreciation for what pro wrestlers do? He's like, oh my god, like pro wrestlers and everybody in that ring, they're doing theater. They're doing the voice acting and the physical movement and the combat stuff. He's like, they are truly the greatest actors that are in this entertainment space, man.
A lot of people can be athletes and a lot of people can be actors. Not everyone can be both simultaneously at the same time.
Right, right. As far as performers go, you've worked with a lot of people in AEW. Who are some who's someone that you've seen grow and develop so much over
I
the course of your time there?
Oh my God. I think the first two that come to mind are Konosuke Takeshita and Bandito.
Oh yeah.
And I think when Konosuke Takeshita came over, like he had been in DDT, and I don't think a lot of like I had not been familiar with his work at all. But having sort of the stamp of approval from Kenny Omega immediately was like, okay, this guy's gonna be somebody. This is great. And I remember specifically doing a match with him and Hangman and just him blowing my actual mind in the match of like, wow, you can see the potential of this person and seeing what he had done for, the months leading up to that point. But for me and what I had observed specifically, like that was the changing point where I was like, this guy's going to be a future star. And since then, we've seen him grow both in, his presence as a performer. We've seen his wrestling just continue to become more and more stellar. Um, and then I think also on the other note, like Bandito both of these guys even were in the argument for wrestler of the year last year, and I think that that argument could be said again this year, and we're only halfway through. Bandito is just so good at telling stories and getting sympathy, which I think is especially difficult when people can't see your face. Like being able to get the audience to want you to win and have that like we believe in this guy when you can't see the anguish on his face is a particular skill set that is extremely hard to do. So the combination of that with just the continuous improvement in the quality of his wrestling is just phenomenal. And it also helps that both those guys are just incredible people and friends of mine. And I'm so happy to see the success that they've gotten and all of the places and opportunities they've gotten because of all the hard work they're doing. It's one of those things where it's really easy to root for people when you see them putting in the work.
Oh
So
yeah.
both those guys are incredible.
And you certainly put in the work as well. You mentioned part of your itinerary is, you got to get the workout in. So what does Aubrey Edwards have in her playlist when she's putting in the work at the gym?
Oh, playlist it's going to be real boring. I listen to podcasts.
Okay.
Uh, I listen to a lot of this is like legit again, stereotypical Pacific Northwesterner. I'm a big fan of my local NPR station. But I
How many
end up
tote bags?
being right. I am on the road so much that you're sort of combating this homesickness. So I try to actually listen to Seattle Public Radio when I'm on the road. And that's probably when I listen to it most, honestly. Just to kind of feel like I have that grounding back home, even if I'm, on the East Coast, even if I'm in Mexico, even if I'm on the UK. So I listen to a lot of Seattle-based culture and news podcasts when I am listening to something. Um, Outside of that, if we're talking music, like I've been on a Bad Bunny kick this year, but like who hasn't been after that Super
Right.
Bowl performance? So
Mhm. I got you. I got you. Look, I've always described. I host a heavy metal show on Saturday
yeah,
nights on our station, and I describe myself as a cross between basically I'm Terry Stevens, but I have a little Terry Gross in me as well. So yeah,
yeah.
we can do we can do some all things considered and open up a mosh pit while we do it. So yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
I stand this American life in this household, doggone it. There you go.
Oh, the best, the absolute best. I think my ringtone is actually like, this is Ira Glass. Every phone has a story, and
Yes.
your story's phone is that it's ringing. I think it was
I
from
don't.
like BoJack Horseman or something. And I
Yeah,
was
I was
like,
gonna
I need it
say.
now.
I was gonna say. Yeah, I'm surely you've seen BoJack Horseman. Then
That
okay.
is where I
Yeah.
stole it from. I confidently stole it from BoJack Horseman, and it's just not because I was the biggest fan of BoJack Horseman, but because I'm a huge fan of Ira Glass.
Right.
Like, let's
Right. I
be
mean, just
real.
hearing my favorite NPR celeb show up on that show on a periodic basis was top tier.
Oh my God.
Too much, man. Well, Aubrey, we cannot wait to have you at the Lansing Center for Capital City Comic Con, July 10th through 12th. Dude, it's loaded up. You're going to have you might see some of your former coworkers there.
Hey.
There you go, man. It's going to be a really good time. When you go to these cons, what are you shopping for? What's gonna attack your wallet the most?
Oh man. So I get this question, and this is going to be the most boring answer, but like I don't buy anything.
You shoplift.
Partly
Okay,
because
good to know. All right, well, we'll have security watch you.
right, it's just I don't buy anything, but no. I kid. I have a very, very small condo, and if I were to buy something, something else has to go into storage. So it's
Yeah.
always a difficult conversation. On top of that, I try to travel as light as possible. And if there's not room in my suitcase, then it just wasn't meant to be.
Got you. All right, all right. So memories. You'll be shopping for memories while you're there.
That is the biggest thing. And honestly, like that's what I try to do. That's how I try to live my life in general is what are the interactions I can have with people that are meaningful to either me or them? What are the moments that I'm going to remember and talk about in the future? What are all of these cool places? What is the delicious food that I ate? Because I'm a big like I enjoy food, obviously with the coffee stuff.
Right, right.
So a lot of times it's just what are the memories that I'm taking back, which is also oftentimes significantly cheaper.
There is that. Hey, you got to be thrifty, man. You got to be thrifty. There you
I'm
go.
just trying. I'm trying.
Well, Aubrey, we can't wait to see you at Capital City Comic Con July 10th through 12th at the Lansing Center. While you're here sampling the coffee and all the wares, by the way, 517 Coffee, great place to stop. Also, Blue Owl, which is a pretty decent walk from the venue itself. But Blue Owl in Rio Town, top tier, man, if you're looking for a good coffee. And yeah, man, we'll hang at Capital City Comic Con. Cannot wait to see you there, bud.
Hell yeah.
Michigan's Rock Station. Q106.